All right, so that brings us then to Mattress Running the Numbers. And so Mattress Running the Numbers this week, what we have to talk about is the clock is running down, right? So clock is running down. Last call for a Hyatt mattress run and time to get on planning your Marriott mattress run. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you think? Is it
definitely right? So we've talked a million times about how this is the year to mattress run Hyatt, between double elite nights, half the nights required to get to top tier elite status. Plus, if, assuming you signed up for all these promos, you're also getting either a bunch of points back as a rebate, or you're earning a lot of extra points for your paid stay. This is one of those rare situations where it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense for many people, if not most people, to do some mattress running here. You have to check out. You have to check out by February 28th. So get that done right away. And and a lot of people have asked, is it likely that Hyatt will extend this promotion? Nick and I agree. It's not too likely that they'll extend it. That's not to say that they might have very valuable promos afterwards. So that's still a possibility, but we don't think this promo will be, or this set of promos will be extended.
Right.
The other thing, Marriott.
Okay, wait. Before you go to Marriott,
all right.
Got a question for you, because a question came in from a reader, I think just today, about this Hyatt thing. And I thought this is a good question that some people may find themselves in position to consider in this next 2 weeks here before the end of the month, or 12 days, whatever, to 10 days. I guess it is 9 days, 8 days. I can't know. Whenever this publishes, there's not a lot of time left. So Derek asked in our Frequent Miler Insiders group, I just achieved global status. I now have 36 nights. And that's a position that a lot of people might be in. If you had some nights from the credit card, whatever, you may have something a little over 30. But what Derek asks is, do you think it's worth a mattress run for 7 nights in order to get the milestone 50 nights to earn the 2 Sweet Night Awards? He said he'd plan to do them at a category 1 for 5,000 points a night. And you can manufacture Ultimate Rewards points easily. So my question for you is, if you've gotten to the 30 nights at this point, one way or another, you're at 30, is it worth considering a mattress run to get yourself to 50 for the 2 Sweet Night Awards? And how many nights? Like, he asked about 7, but that's just an arbitrary number. How many nights are worth doing to get those globals, the Sweet Night Awards? Because the Sweet Night Awards, you get 2 of them at 50 and 2 of them at 60 nights.
Yeah.
Is it worth mattress running?
I mean, there's no set answer for that, because Hyatt will let you book into suites with points, or even upgrade to suites with points if you have a cash stay. And so the pricing for the upgrade or for the suite booked straight up depends on what category hotel you're in. And that was a long way of saying, like, if you're going to end up, I wouldn't do it at all unless you're sure you're going to use those upgrade certificates. But even if you are going to use those upgrade certificates, if you're going to end up using them at like category 1 or 2 property, you're probably not coming out ahead by doing all this. If you're going to use it for like a category 6 or 7 property, you're probably coming out way ahead. And so I think you just have to sort of sit down and do the math and say, here's how I'm likely to use it. The suite is worth this much to me, and which way would be, I guess, cheaper to get to that suite that you want.
I think that's the thing. You got to ask yourself, how many points per night on top of a standard award would I be willing to pay for a suite? Like, and that number has to be no more than the amount that Hyatt would charge you, of course, but perhaps might be less, because you may not be willing to pay that Hyatt Suite Night price. But, are you willing to pay 5,000 points a night extra? If you're probably going to use it at a property that's 25,000 points per night, I would think most people would be willing to pay 5,000 points a night
for sure
to get one of those suite upgrades. And so if you're going to use it for 7 nights, and it's going to cost you 7 nights right now times 5,000 points per night, well, that's a pretty good deal then, if you are pretty confident you're going to use it that way. And you just have to determine, where is that number? 5,000 points a night, 10,000 points a night? How many points a night is a suite worth to you on whatever stage you're going to use them on? That's your number, that, okay, that's how many points I'm willing to fork out. And then, is it worth forking out? And then the next thing is to go to
I think that's a really good way to think about it.
Yep. Go to that tool that Greg created to determine whether you should be paying in cash or points. Because when Derek said 5,000 points a night at a category 1, my first thought was, because he said that you can manufacture Ultimate Rewards points cheaply. I figured Derek probably is the type that has a Sapphire Reserve then. So you can cash out points at 1.5 cents each right now at the grocery store, right? So 5,000 points you could redeem for $75 worth of stuff at the grocery store, like, say, gift cards, right?
Right.
So I would have to then look at how much is the cash price of that room, Derek, because at a category 1 right now, you may well be looking at much less than $75 per night cash. Cash out your points at the grocery store for Visa gift cards and use them to pay for the stay, earn points on the stay. Check Greg's post. Greg's got a post, and I'll put it in the show notes for how to figure out whether you should be paying cash or you should be paying points. But particularly if you're manufacturing cheap Ultimate Rewards points and you have the Sapphire Reserve, consider whether you should cash out and pay for the stay.
Right. And part of the factor which the spreadsheet does take into account is if you have the Hyatt credit card and you pay with points, you're getting 25% of your points back versus 15% without the Hyatt card. Whereas if you pay with cash, you're going to get 3x rewards regardless. So all that's taken into account. And yeah, but that's right around the range, right? Like somewhere in the around $75 is where it becomes almost like you could do it either way. And then if it's cheaper than 75, you're probably better off paying cash, but that's going to vary based on whether you have the Hyatt card and different things.
Right. So that's how you figure it out. Figure out how much suites are worth to you, and then go from there. Go backwards from there. All right. So that was half the Mattress Running the Numbers, right? It was like, now's the time. Right. You're in the time crunch. Get it done with Hyatt. But now, if you're done with Hyatt or you're not a Hyatt person, but you are a Marriott person, it's time to get on the horse here, because Marriott, you need to start booking now, and you can start checking in at this point too, right? I mean, the promo's already on. Double nights.
Make sure you're enrolled in the Marriott promo. And you should be able to go into your app and find Marriott app and find your promotions and register if you're not already. As long as you have a 2-night or longer stay and at least one of them is a paid night, then you'll get double elite nights and double points for that stay. So if you're one of the people that had elite status last year, and so you got a bunch of points rolled over, then you're probably fairly close to a meaningful level of elite status this year, and so it could pay to Mattress Run. I think with Marriott, it's a lot more dependent on your specific situation, whether it makes any sense, much more so than the Hyatt deal, because Marriott's so dependent on sort of how many nights got rolled over from last year as to whether it's worth it. And the attaining elite status is not like, it's good, but it's not quite the big win, I think, as getting it with Hyatt. So just something to think about. And I think a lot of people who are within a lot of people are within about 6 nights from elite status. So that means only a single 3-night stay can get you, let's say, to platinum status. I wouldn't Mattress Run for less than, like, if you're close to gold, I would not Mattress Run for gold. It just doesn't give you enough benefits.
How about for titanium? Like, is there a spot where it makes sense to Mattress Run for? I saw somebody in Frequent Mile Insiders talking about Mattress Running for titanium status, and I kind of thought to myself, really? I mean, is it worth Mattress Running for titanium? I don't know. What do you think?
Right. I mean, we've talked about this before, that like, if you're going to fly United a reasonable number of times, it could be totally worth it, because that'll get you silver status. And so that alone could easily pay for what you're doing, right?
For sure.
After that, like, a lot of it is kind of specialized. If you're going to be paying for a lot of Marriott stays, then you're going to earn a lot more points with titanium status. If you are going to be staying at Ritz-Carlton properties, then your titanium will give you the chance of a suite upgrade, whereas you won't get a suite upgrade without it. Now, you still won't get free breakfast at Ritz.
Right. You got a big room, just nothing to eat in it.
That's right. And
walking around that big room's going to make you hungry, so you're going to have to pay for breakfast.
Yeah. And then there's my sort of exception hotel I bring up every now and then, the St. Pancras Hotel in London, which has a club lounge that they don't call a club lounge, and if you're not staying in a certain section of the hotel, you don't get access unless you have titanium status. So There are probably other places like that where titanium gives you something, even though it's not documented.
Yeah. Yeah. And also keep in mind that when you hit 75 nights, you get another choice benefit, which you could take a 40K free night certificate. So if you're relatively close, it might be worth something to you to get the 40K cert if you have a good use for it. I wouldn't pay too many points for that, but something, it might be worth something. So there's a few benefits. All right. Okay. You convinced me that some people may want a mattress run for titanium status also. And then of course, there's the hope that having higher status will be somewhat helpful for you down the road, because it certainly worked out for people this year that had high level status last year, right? Because really, if you had titanium status from the year before last, I had that and I made out like a fat rat basically, because last year I got half the number of nights necessary for titanium status, and I got my titanium status extended, and so then this year they gave me half the nights for titanium status again, even though I didn't earn it last year. I just had it extended, and so it's kind of working out. I'm getting all these nights towards my lifetime gold status, baby.
And this year's rollover put me over lifetime platinum.
Yeah.
So all these nights that I did nothing to earn has got me to lifetime platinum, which is just craziness. But I love it, because it means now the equation for me, in future years of whether to Mattress Run Marriott is easy. Why would I? Because I would have to go all the way to 75 nights to get any meaningful additional benefit over what lifetime platinum is giving me, and that's way too far to go, I think, to get United Silver status. So,
agreed. So, all right. So, get on it. You got until April. What is it? When does it end, Greg?
The Marriott one ends April 27th. So I think so. I know with Hyatt you have to be checked out on the day of the last day of the promo. With Marriott, I'm not sure if you have to be checked out or if that's like your last night and you could check out on the 28th, but I would try to be checked out by the 27th just in case, or dig into the terms and conditions to see if it's written in there.